Hello everyone, welcome to Ben Nevis. This is obviously the first trip that we've done and the first conference that we've ever done at a mountain. So I hope everyone's enjoyed themselves so far.
Yeah.
We're about to move it. Good crowd there. We're obviously about to move into some speakers, but obviously just want to thank everyone for coming along today.
So when we coach negotiation, we tell our salespeople that what people value most highly, they work really hard for. So I think with that in mind, Matt has probably created the most valuable conference that all of us are going to ever have been on, based on how hard we've had to work to get here. I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about how you integrate sales and marketing. I've got three main points that I want to cover. So the first thing is about, it's fairly obvious, but creating a long-term successful business plan is all about integrating your sales and marketing. The gap between sales and marketing, for me and for most companies, is completely dead, and how successfully you integrate them depends on how successful your business plan will be. The second, particularly for traditional companies like ours, is that the online space is a brilliant opportunity to be able to change the relationship between sales and marketing. And the third thing is about, if you successfully manage your digital presence, you can build a group of advocates, and you can really get your consumers to be advocates for you, and that has to be the most powerful form both of sales and marketing. What are my credentials? Well, I work at Lindt Chocolate. I head up their impulse and their retail part of their business. I've worked at Innocent Drinks and I've worked at the BBC, so I understand the value of growing a brand by building the brand equity. So firstly, why is it important to create an integrated sales and marketing plan? Well, I think if you start with a sales plan, here comes the sunshine, amazing. If you start with a sales plan, the danger is you can very much focus on the short term. And if you start with focusing on a marketing plan, the danger is you create a fantastic brand without a revenue stream. So clearly the holy grail is to integrate both of them. And in the consumer goods industry, we have some success, and a lot of companies use a model, and Lindt uses a model called balanced scorecard, and it was a model developed by Kaplan and Norton, and it's something that Bain talk about lots of companies using. And essentially it's the key way to make sure that you align your objectives right at the start of any project or any business or any annual business plan that you set up. The benefit is that you align your products, you align your marketing through four key areas: through your people, through your processes, through your financial metrics, and through your market metrics as well. The advantage of doing that is that everybody is working to the same aims. Everybody's got the same objectives in mind. If you're a marketer and you've got commercially facing objectives, then it's easy for your salespeople to translate it. So that's what we do at Lindt. It works. It works really successfully for us, and it ensures that our sales and our marketing team work well together. So my second point is, why is online such a big opportunity, particularly for traditional companies? Well, I suppose in the consumer goods industries, traditional above the line campaigns have been a staple of a marketing plan for, I suppose, over 100 years. A marketing team was focused on the consumer and the sales team was focused on the customer, and there was very little interaction in many cases between them. That's clearly an outdated model, but that silo mentality is something that lots and lots of companies need to break down. And in order to integrate your sales and marketing is clearly the best way of doing that. Now, why does online provide a really great opportunity? Well, in a way, online in traditional consumer goods companies, it doesn't sit necessarily with marketing, it doesn't necessarily sit with sales either. It's kind of this hybrid. So for companies like us that are just exploring digital, I can't talk to you about digital knowledge because we don't have it to the same extent that most people here do. It's a great opportunity. It requires a slightly different skill set. It requires people to think both as salespeople and marketers, and as a salesperson's role is much more about business management, and marketers become increasingly financially savvy, it's a perfect opportunity. And a great example would be something that Ocado do. So Ocado have had a couple of initiatives recently. They've launched an app with good food, and they've launched these virtual shopping malls, and actually they're driving over 25% of their business now through the new apps that they're creating. And the advantage of doing that clearly is that consumers think they're at the front of technology, and they think they're a really advanced company, but actually you're totally blurring the line between sales and marketing, and it's the truest form for me of how to achieve it. And the final thing that I want to talk about is why online and why digital provides that pure sales and marketing opportunity. As most salespeople and good marketers know, starting with the consumer and working outwards is a key way to build your brand and give you a good chance of success. And if you focus on your core consumers and your core customers, you're going to have a big halo effect around that. You know, I don't need to talk to you about online reviews and Facebook likes and you know, reading reviews on Amazon, but what you can do in the digital space more than anywhere else is create brand advocates from your consumers. And it's interesting talking to Eamon about Naked Wines, and it feels to me that that's a really great example of how you're creating your consumers as amazing brand advocates. And as we know, word of mouth is the most powerful way to talk to consumers, both from a marketing perspective and from a sales perspective. And the 80-20 rule that a lot of us talk about, you know, focus on the core 20% of your consumers or your suppliers, and that gives you 80% of your revenue, for me doesn't even come close. And if you take an example of the gambling industry, online gambling, as much as 99% of their profit and turnover comes from 1% of their consumers. So that tells you just how important getting that balance and integrating your core consumers as your brand advocates is. So I suppose to sum up, I've worked in sales and I've worked in marketing. I haven't either turned to the dark side or turned from the dark side. You know, those boundaries are long gone and are long dead. At Lindt, we use a business model called a balanced scorecard to help us integrate our sales and marketing, and obviously other parts of our business as well. In the digital space is a key one for growth for traditional companies such as ours, and it's a brilliant way of building brand advocacy. So that's my speech. I hope it was interesting, and if you've got anything more that you want to find out, we've still got half a mountain to climb down. So thank you very much.